Hello, welcome to Africa Let's Talk. My name is Collins Kofi Opon. You can always call me Mr. Beyond. We are going to have a conversation tonight, but please, if you have joined us, do me a favor, share the video, invite your friends so that we can get this conversation right and now going. And I appreciate everybody who is joining us. Tonight, we are having a conversation about the MNLEND program. That is actually developing leaders to improve quality of life in our community. The objective of this community broadcast is to learn how MNLEND is developing new leaders actually to be skilled in systems thinking, effective in interventions and practices, as well as able to improve the quality of life outcomes for children and youth with neurodevelopmental and related disabilities. I think it's a lot of words, but when my guests come in, they will help us break it down so that we can all understand. We will also find out more about the MNLEND program and how important it is to our community. My guest today, Dr. Richard Oni. He is the Director of Services and Training at the Progressive Individual Resources. We also have Irene Asong Mofau. I'm going to get the name correct when she comes on as well. And she is the MNLEND Fellow. We also have Elijah Awalaya. He is a Zina and MNLEND Fellow for the program. So please, if you have joined us, you are more than welcome to invite your friends and so that we can get this conversation going. I think there were a lot of words that I was throwing out there, and I wasn't even sure what I was talking about at some point. But I'm very privileged to have you, ladies and gentlemen, today to talk about this program. Dr. Ngozi already says, hi, speakers and moderator. It's nice to be here. Indeed. Thank you so very much for being here. If you also join us, you are more than welcome to share. We are streaming live on Facebook via African Let's Talk, as well as on YouTube and also on LinkedIn on African Let's Talk. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to start with the lady. Madam Irene, can you please introduce yourself and how you are involved with the MNLEND program?
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins, for having me. Thank you, listeners, for logging in. My name is Irene Asomofo, and I come from Cameroon. I am a special education teacher at Metro Schools. I'm a community-led fellow, and currently I am, my title currently is a co-alumni leader, and I'm working on this project on behalf of LEND.
All right, thank you so very much for taking the time to introduce yourself. I would like to come to you, Mr. Elijah. Can you also please introduce yourself and how you are connected with the MNLEND program?
Thank you, Collins, and thank you for having us on Africa Talk tonight. My name is Elijah Olayazina. Originally, I am from Liberia, West Africa, a little country over there. Those of you in America who don't know, it's a little country in West Africa.
Liberia,
for you African brothers,
Liberia is very popular, so I'm sure a lot of people
I know. It's a little country with a lot of great history, you know.
Absolutely.
So I am a 2019, 2020, 21 graduate of the Minnesota LEND program. So I am a fellow of that program. And currently I'm working as a co-leader on the co-leader alumni for LEND, coordinating with Dr. Onen on his nonprofit program. I'm happy to be
here. Thank you so very much, Elijah, for the introduction. Dr. Oni, I heard your name. So please, I know you are very popular in the Twin Cities with your work that you do, but can you please further introduce yourself and how you are connected to this program? How did they get you to be here?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'm Dr. Richard Oni. I am also from Nigeria. How did I get involved with Minnesota Land? Well, see, I have been part of ICI, Institute on Community Integration, many years ago as a community participatory researcher at that time. My title was Associate Research. And at that time, I'd been part of Minnesota Institute for Community Integration at the time. So when this opportunity came, I was, I found out about it, and they reached out to me, some of the leaders at the Institute, to apply as an agency that can be a trusted agency in the community. And that was how I applied with many other organizations and happened to be selected to be part of this. And I love it because it's creating and building new leadership in different areas. And what I like about LEND is the fact that it's very broad. Anybody can get into it. You can be a carpenter and be part of it because you have humanity in you. And that is what the most important thing, the humanity aspect of it.
The humanity aspect. Wow, thank you so very much, Dr. Richard Oni, for the introduction. Now we are going to delve into the main conversation. And I would like to actually start with you, Madam Irene. Of course, we are throwing the word around a lot, Minnesota Land, MNLEND, mainland. What exactly is the focus of the MNLEND program? Of course, looking at how exciting it is, considering about how it is actually nurturing new leaders. Can you actually, at this point, explain what the program is all about?
So, Minnesota Land, or LEND, means Leadership Education in Neurodevelopmental Disabilities. This leadership education program is funded by the Maternal and Child Health Bureau at the Department of Human Services, that is DHHS. There are 52 of these LEND programs in the US. So you have Minnesota LEND, but in the different states in the US, you also have the LEND program. So we call it Minnesota LEND because this one is actually located in Minnesota. So this program is a 10-month immersive learning leadership training program. It is rigorous, but it is really, really good. The LEARN program is run by the Institute on Community Integration, the ICI, which is at the University of Minnesota. And this program advocates for inclusion of all people with disabilities through an intensive focus on policies, practices that affect children, youths, adults with disabilities, and those receiving educational support. So I talk about neurodevelopmental disabilities. I'm going to explain what that means. So we are going to use this term neurodevelopmental disabilities, or you could hear us say developmental disability. So this is defined as a disability or a difference that happens to a child's mind or body before they are born or right at birth. So these disabilities or disorders include autism spectrum disorder, intellectual disabilities, fetal alcohol syndrome disorder, traumatic brain injury, communication, speech and language disorders, motor disorders, learning disabilities, cerebral palsy, and epilepsy. So all of these are all forms of developmental disabilities.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that rich dose of information that you have given us. Is there anything else you would like to add, Elijah or Dr. Oni, about what the program is about? Yeah, Elijah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question, Cuttings. The LEND program is also focused on finding the halfway between, or the intersectionality between people with disability, within our communities. We know that people with disability have different quantitative meaning attached to them in different communities. So land knows that disability does not discriminate. So land is focused on recruiting people from underrepresented community and taking into consideration racial, ethnicity, psychosocial, religious, and gender educational backgrounds. So land brings people together from all walks of life to train them, to educate them about how to become an advocate for people who are living with disability within different communities. Many a times we overlook and we don't pay attention to people who are living with disability, especially in our African community that is so underrepresented in so many different ways. So land, one of the goals of land is to pay attention to diversity. So bringing the conversation into underrepresented group, and then how we can initiate that conversation in these communities and make sure that people that are aware that disability is a non-discriminatory situation that happens to anybody regardless of your background, regardless of where you are. We all are just one step away from becoming disabled. So if you have somebody who is NDD, that is has NDD, that is has a neuro disability or related disability problem, we are not to discriminate against them, because we know that there are people with different kind of ability, and the then program focus on how we can accommodate these people and add value to their lives.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. Dr. Tony, is there anything you would like to add with regards to the MN program and what exactly it is?
No, I think they pretty much covered it.
Okay, they covered it. Okay, absolutely. All right, we are continuing the conversation. Once again, this is African Let's Talk. If you join the conversation, you have any questions, you have any answers, or you need clarification on anything that we are talking about, please, you are more than welcome to leave your questions in the comment box, and then we'll read your question live on air. At this point, we'd like to find out about as fellows of the Minnesota LEND program, what actually inspired you to embark on the journey, and what has been your experience so far? So I'd like to start with you, Elijah, if you don't mind. What inspired you to really embark on the MNLEND program, and what has been your experience so far?
Thank you very much for asking the question, and it is a very important question. And I think what motivated me to kind of join the Minnesota LEND program, or the University of Minnesota LEND program, is that the issue of this for people with disability that are living within our communities, the way we treat them, the value we add to them in our community is so minute. Many a times, people who are with disability in many families in Africa, we will see that maybe even if we go into church, we go into occasions, we would leave these people home because we are afraid of the stigma. We are afraid about what people will say about them. We are afraid of identifying with them, especially the African community. It is a difficult conversation to have with people who have disability, and people easily forget that disability comes in different forms, and we all have some form of disability. Not only the person who has a neurodevelopmental problem or have a neurodevelopmental difference, but as individual, as African, how we can initiate this conversation. And that was my motivational point of diving into this learning program at the University of Minnesota. Because when you get into the Minnesota LEND program, your worldview is kind of changed, because the program is so diversified in the way that it is spanning like 16 interdisciplinary courses, that you are able to learn from everything and learn how to become an advocate for people with disability. And if you look in our African community, you would notice that we are underrepresented in this field. There are a lot of people who do not talk about this in our community because of the connotative meaning we attach to the people who have some form of disability or mental problem or neurological problem. So getting into this study, those were my motivational points. How I can become an advocate for my African community. How can I encourage other Africans to join into the conversation of advocating with people for people with disability? How can we be very inclusive? Because let's focus on finding the intersection that meet halfway. Let's bring people and add value to bodies.
All right, thank you so very much for actually sharing what inspired you to get into the LEND program. Madam Irene, can you also share with us what actually inspired you to consider this journey of becoming a Minnesota LEND Fellow?
Thank you for that question. I come from Cameroon, as I earlier said, and I grew up in a family of, we are 7 of us, or we're 7 of us in the family. So I had a younger sister who had Down syndrome, and I have a nephew who currently has autism. But I grew up with my younger sister in Africa. And there in Africa, there was a lot of discrimination when my sister went through school. She actually graduated from the elementary school, but without learning anything. She was in the classroom. She was in the mainstream classroom like every other person, which I would consider that as inclusion. But I think that was inclusion by default. So she was there in the classroom, but she received no services. She had a speech and language impairment. Come to think of it right now, she had she found it difficult. She couldn't even write. So what I discovered was she was promoted from one class to another until she graduated from elementary school, but she couldn't even write down her name. So I knew that my sister had a problem, but I didn't know what that was. And then in the community, people would call her, she will dance, they will laugh at her, they will call her an imbecile, they'll give her all sorts of names. So when I came to the US, I worked in a group home, and I think all of us listening here, most of us, we come from Cameroon or from Africa with huge certificates. I came with a master's degree in education. I worked in a group home, and I think many Africans will attest to that. So I worked in a group working for people with disabilities, supporting them, people who look like my sister. So it started, I started thinking. So I decided to go back to school after 5 years, but I didn't know what to learn. Finally, I decided I was going to go into special education so that I can support my sister, I can support people with disabilities, because that was really my passion. But went through special education, had a master's degree. I wasn't still very satisfied because I felt that my knowledge was just in the classroom. I wanted an avenue to get out there, to get into the community, to be an advocate, to be the voice of the voiceless in the community. So then I came across one of my friends, Dr. Mrs. Tata Menta, who gave me the flyer for the LEND program. I had just 1 week to apply for the program. And looking at it, their objectives, their goals really fitted with mine, So that's why I got into the program. And honestly, I think I'm really happy. So my objective has been to work with my community to find out what they need and to support them, and to let my community know that, we need to come out of this stigma. We need to come out of this denial and embrace disability from a different lens. We should look at disability from a different lens. We should
absolutely.
We should embrace our people with disability with love. We should accept them. We should ask questions. We should look for resources to help them, to support them, and find out ways to advocate. It's just
no, you said it all, and I'm happy. And again, thank you so much for actually sharing your story, especially related to your family, and how that inspired you to thinking of doing something different for our community. There's a comment that has come in from McDonald. I'm sorry, the comment has covered the faces of Dr. Oni. But it says, I want to commend your guest and you for talking about Minnesota LEND program at the Institute of Community Integration College of Education and Human Development, University of Minnesota. The leadership of the program appreciates these community conversations that expand existing knowledge about the neurodiverse people. There are neurodiverse people in the African immigrant community, and like Mr. Elijah Zina said, we all have some form of neuro differences. Thank you so very much, McDonald, for actually sending in your comments. Once again, this is African Let's Talk. We are having this community conversation with regards to something that is so very important in our community, but we hardly talk about, but we're learning about how the MN program is developing new leaders to be skilled, not only in systems thinking, but also with regards to the quality of life for children and youth with some neurodevelopmental and related disabilities. If you have any questions and comments, you are more than welcome to please chip them in. Dr. Oni, what do you think so far? How is the conversation going for you?
Well, the conversation is really going well. My involvement has been part of my role is to be a leader. And I've been a leader in this field. In 1995, I was appointed by Governor Ann Carlson to the Governing Planning Council on Developmental Disability for 5 years. And I learned there to see the purpose of this land, how it fits into my organization, because our organization is also an organization that advocates for people with dual diagnosis of mental health, mental illness, and developmental disability. So when the opportunity came, I picked it up because it's been my passion to work in those two fields. And when you hear mental illness or mental health, you see how people shy away. So the same thing similar to people with developmental disability. And so, and before then, because of my associate research at ICI, I figured that this is the time that the institution is reaching out to the community. And I just love the idea that now institutions now realize that the resources are within us, especially people of color. It's been my passion to make sure that anything that has to do with policy and leadership in those areas, that we have our people on the table too, because without that, we always be a listener. We won't be part of policy making people. And so the idea that we can make policy together that will benefit our community, that's what brought me there. And I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for actually getting involved and always helping, especially the underprivileged portions or marginalized people in our community. And indeed, this is a great conversation. At this point, we'd like to talk about the objective and also how important the program is. We would like to combine those two questions about what the overall objective of the program. I think we've actually touched a bit about it and what does it seek to achieve. And also the other part of the question will be how important is this program to the specific needs of our community. So Irene, Elijah, please, any of you can take either part of the question. That is the objective and also how it's, and what does it seek to achieve? And then with regards to the important, how important is the program to the specific needs of our community?
Yeah, I will start first, and then I will let Irene to conclude on that. The Minnesota LEND program is kind of structured in a way that it is run over the period of 10 months, very intensive, high professional level learning training program. That the program kind of span 16 interdisciplinary courses. And the objective is to train fellows to participate in multimodal learning activities. And through these multimodal activities, fellows are able to join academic professors, community experts to explore different topics that are related to neurodevelopmental disability and inclusion, and also learn from a people-centered learning perspective and how to get people who are physically challenged or have some form of disability or some form of neurological problem, how to work, how to include them. So the program is structured in a way that you have different you will have some clinical observation on campus. We have learning sections that happen every Thursday. Now the sections, now they have increased on the time. We used to go 1 hour, now it used to be yeah, it's now 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. every Thursday. So you get that 1 hour to be in class. But then after you have left class, there are other activities, clinical activities, community activities that are self-advocates, teacher integrated activities, learning experiences that are out there. And you also have mentors, faculties, mentors that are working with fellows on different projects within the LEND program. So the program is multifaceted on so many different forms that equip leaders. When you graduate from this program, you become an advocate in your community, like what Irene and I are doing now with Dr. O'Neill. We are co-leading with him on his program because he worked with people within the community. So we direct him to resources. We guide him through his program, how we look at what he's doing within the community. And this is what we want other Africans to do. Join the effort, take advantage of an opportunity of the Minnesota LEND program, especially if you are in Minnesota. Take advantage of it. And one of the things I want to say here is that you also get paid. You also get paid for studying. So that's an added thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's a really added benefit.
yeah,
Okay,
that's
we'll
an
be
added
talking
benefit.
more on that. But
While you study, you know. So
Mhm.
it is intensive, but if you are committed to it, you will graduate and know that you've learned something and you can be of benefit to your community. And then I will allow Irene to just
Okay.
complete that for
All right. So yeah, Irene, with regards to it, I mean, you can either touch on the objective part or you can also touch on how important it is to our community.
So the objective is some of the objectives is bridging the gaps and intersectionality, just like Elijah said, between people with developmental disabilities and those without in our communities. And it seeks to address national issues of importance to all children and adults with disabilities. It advances professionalism. LEND collaborates across disciplines to work across disciplines and cultural backgrounds, just in order to find ways to include people. Like as I said before, LEND works with advocacy groups. It works with educationists. It works with, it partners, with advocacy groups, professional groups, families, and other members of the community to find ways in order to bring inclusion, bring a good lifestyle to people with disabilities. And so for our community, just like Elijah has said, and as I said before, we really want to enlighten the minds of our people to look at disability from a different lens, to look at disability, to know that LEND is here to help us. So many people should apply, many Africans or people from our community should be members of the LEND so that together we can build a stronger African community, because we are really, our people are left out. You have parents whose children the children sometimes are identified for special education services, and parents will withdraw that they don't want it. They fear labeling, they fear stigma, they are in denial. So it is this program, the LEND program, is very, very important. It's going to help you. It's going to let you know about services and all those ways of supporting your family with disability. So we should stop shying away, We should take pride in our people and instead ask questions and find support. So, yeah.
Oh, no, you've made a really good point. And again, throwing out the invitation to our community really to now take a look at disability, especially among youth and the little ones in a different lens, because really we are all in this together. We need a community that is all inclusive, a community that is actually taking care of those, especially that are very marginalized. At this point, the question that I would like to look at is what group of people are actually eligible to take part or apply to be part of the program, and what does the application process actually entail? So, Madam Irene or Elijah, if you can actually talk about who is eligible to apply and how is the process like?
So, go ahead, Irene.
No, Madam Irene, you can go ahead.
Okay, so we have self-advocates, family members, community-based professionals, students of the University of Minnesota, or graduates from the University of Minnesota or from other colleges, postdoctoral researchers, because this program deals with, they do a lot of research. They find ways to update or to have new information about policies. The policies change on disabilities, change a lot. So they find ways in order to update this information all the time so that people with disabilities are not left out. So like Elijah said, people from underrepresented or underserved communities like ours are strongly encouraged to apply. Community fellows do not need any graduate degrees or degrees, as long as you are interested in disabilities and helping our people and have some leadership skills, you are eligible to apply. So
okay, all right. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Elijah?
Sure. Just to follow up to add on to what Irene said, the Minnesota LEND program bring people from all walks of life, regardless of your background, but also people that selected based on their outstanding skills and leadership potential and their life experiences to become part of the program. So you have to show commitment to development, to improve the quality of life of people who are living with disability. So when you want to apply for the Minnesota LEND program, you should know in mind that you're going to be vetted. You will not just apply and say, oh, I'm going to go into it, but LEND want to see that you are committed. You have some leadership potential and you have some life experiences that they can tap into and develop those skills and make you an outstanding professional within advocacy for people who are living with disability. That's why the university is in partnership with the Institute for Community Institution that runs the Minnesota LENDS program, is in partnership with the University of Minnesota and others university to kind of encourage people to bring them into the research center to provide the fellows read enriching 10 weeks training that would allow them to grow together collectively and improve the knowledge of leadership skill doing the sustained interdisciplinary goals during the period of 10 weeks. So
the period of 10 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. Not 10 months,
okay.
Not weeks, but 10 months.
No, 10 weeks. So that is what, like 2 months, right?
No, 10 months.
10
oh,
months.
10 months.
Oh, 10 months.
Okay. 10 months.
The training is for 10 months.
Oh, okay.
Almost a year. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so I think with knowing about the duration of the training, maybe what we can also find out now is the question about, is it limited to specific disciplines, or does it have like a broad range of disciplines that applicants can choose from?
I'll leave Elijah to answer that question.
Anyway. So the curriculum of the program at the LEND program, it's kind of designed in a way that there are sections that take place every Thursday per the University of Minnesota calendar event. So they have weekly section since COVID happened. They was trying to do some hybrid online thing, but it's not seem to be working so much. So they encourage people to do the in-person sections. So trainees or fellows that are in training can come on campus once a month and to participate in the training. So the training is kind of designed in a way that you are dealing with a particular topic in a year. So it's not like you're going to an academic school where I'm gonna do biology, I'm gonna do chemistry, I'm gonna do this. But the program is designed in a way that you are covering different topics. But at the end of the 10 months, you should have covered 16 different neurodevelopmental disability studies, curriculum activities, and some that has to do with person-centered thinking, person-centered planning, policy making, out of the resources, how to get the clinical experience, hands-on and hands-off, listen to expert talk about different experiences in different neurological setting,
Okay.
different situation. So that's how the curriculum is designed. So you cannot say, "Oh, I want to do this particular one," but if you come to the program, you have to do the sustained disciplines.
Okay. All right. So just to clarify, you mentioned that at least once every month there will be an in-person training.
Once every month, you have to come on campus.
Okay.
That was when they tried to do the hybrid one, but nowadays it is like weekly. Every section is Thursday from 8:30 to 12:30. You be on campus in person, and they encourage that.
Oh, and encourage that. Okay. So it's once, and you say on Thursdays.
Thursday morning, yeah, you'll be on
Okay.
campus from 8:30 to 12:30, and you'll be done.
Okay. And you'll be done.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Once again, this is African Let's Talk. We are having a conversation that is very important with regards to the Minnesota Land, that is developing new leaders to be skilled in systems thinking and, of course, in several areas, and also to help improve actually the quality of life and outcomes for children and the youth, especially who have some neurodevelopmental challenges and related disabilities. And again, we invite you, the community, to become part of this program, especially as an applicant, a student, to learn on how you can also become a champion in this specific area. We are very impressed with time. But of course, the next thing I would like to know is that for individuals who may be applying, there's some benefit. I'm sure you said they are paid to do it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting paid to learn and acquire knowledge and help. How is that? And are there any other benefits that people can actually get? And also the next part of the program is that if anybody is listening and they are interested to be part of it, what should they do right now? So okay. Yeah, Irene or Elijah, whichever you want to tackle this.
Okay, I will go then and Irene will come in. I don't know whether you have the email that we send with the barcode that people can access the website. So if you want to apply for the Minnesota LEND program, currently the application for 2023 and 2024 cohort is now closed, so you cannot apply for that. But application for 2024 and 2025 cohort will be open by October 15 this year, 2023.
Oh, okay.
And early, so they also encourage early admission into the program. That means you can go and apply early into the program. That is for January 2024. January 5th, 2024, you can start applying. So general admission consideration deadline is an application closes on February 15, 2024. So in order to access the page, you can go to LEND, that is LEND.umn.edu. If you can put that on the screen for people to see it, that will be fine, and they'll be able to access the. So it's LEND.umn.edu.
Okay. Yeah, I'll bring it up in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. Okay, so this is where people can go, right?
Yeah.
This is a website. Okay, so yeah, they type in land.umn.edu. Okay,
yeah.
And where do they go from here?
And you will see where it says how to apply. You go down and see how to apply. When you go down, right up there after home, go down all the way down. It's the last option in the black. Go up. Go up.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I see it right here. So then you click on how to apply. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
how to apply, and you will see out of the calendar events out there, and then be able to understand what to do and when to do it.
So like you rightly said, the new applications for the 2023-24 are closed, but for applications for the 2024 and 2025 cohorts will begin October the 15th. Yeah. So, so people can actually apply. So do they have to wait till October 15th to apply, or they can apply now?
Well, that is the it's going to be open at the 15th, so you got to wait for the 15th and before you apply.
Oh, for the 15th. Okay, it's going to be open on the 15th.
There are certain things you need, so you can start getting ready with your application. You need a resume. You need statement of purpose. So all of that, you can start getting all of those ready. A referral. So. Yeah, you can start working on all those now, so that once the application is open, you are ready to go.
Yeah, indeed. Now I've learned to.
Let me throw something to that.
Yeah, please, Dr.
Also, this application, I like the way Irene said it, because I recruited someone last year from St. Cloud. I went there for an event, and I just put all the Minnesota land information on the table, and this lady found it, looked at it, gave me a call. I told her how to apply, and then I refer her to McDonald, who happened to be part of the people that can educate or mentor people through the process. And she got admitted, and she's from she's from Sierra Leone. So admission to this is mainly being committed and get all those 6 things ready: application, personal statement, referrals, and have somebody that will also be your mentor, or somebody that can write upon your preparedness, whether you are really prepared for this or not. So very, very important, especially for what I do in the community. I let people know how they can get admitted or apply for this process.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Madam Irene, is there anything you would like to add? Especially, and I'm happy you mentioned that people can take advantage now to really gather the things that they need, like updating your CV or your resume and all of that. These are really important things that people can do in the meantime whilst we wait for the dates to open again on the October the 15th. Otherwise, is there anything else you would like to add with regard to your process?
Well, I just wanted to add something to what you asked about the benefits. I think Elijah had talked about the stipend. So, I mean, can you beat that, to study in America without paying fees, and you are given a stipend every 2 weeks? So you become you become an employee of the ICI, Institute of Community Integration, during those 10 months. And then you have national networking and travel opportunities. You have a lifelong interdisciplinary connections. So you're able to connect with people who matter in the community, so as to help you, navigate the system. Because, I mean, we were even able to get in touch with our congressmen. We went to Capitol Hill.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a wonderful program. So those are some of the benefits.
It is a wonderful program. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so very much, ladies, gentlemen, for actually coming on to really share more about the MNLEND program. For me, I've learned a lot, because even before I came on, there were many things that I didn't know. But thank you for taking the time to explain. And of course, the need for us as a community to rally behind, get into this area that we can help, indeed, protect the interests of the marginalized, especially with people with disabilities, and especially those who had these things, especially from childhood. I mean, it's a great area. We should all be good people and God people to really be part of this. Before I let you go, your concluding remarks, please.
Elijah, should I go first?
Yeah,
yes, you may go first, please.
So I want to thank Collins for giving us the opportunity to use your platform for this presentation. I want to thank Dr. Oni for connecting us with Collins. I want to thank ICI for giving us the opportunity to work on this project. I'm really encouraging my community members, those in Cameroon, African people to join this program. You know, in Cameroon, in the Cameroonian community, I think I'm the only one who has done this program. So I am pleading, wow. I am urging our Cameroonians to join this program, Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans. We should do that because we have a lot of people with disabilities in our community. We don't even know what to do. Some of us have children and we don't even know how to go through the IP process, you know. So we shouldn't think that disability is the work of the devil. It is not witchcraft. So we should put our efforts together and build a stronger community. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your depths of knowledge with us on this program, and thank you for the invitation to the community. So Cameroonians, I know some of you, please start looking into this, and you can always reach out to Irene for more information. Of course, Elijah, your concluding remarks, and if people need more information, is there a way they can reach out?
Thank you, Collins, for having us tonight, and thank you for allowing us to shine light on the work of the Minnesota LEND program and how others can take advantage of this program. Because the conversation around disability within the African immigrant community is very much limited. We are underrepresented in this area. And it is important that we get into this program and learn how to have communications around neurological problems within our community. So I encourage my fellow Liberians, my fellow Africans, take advantage of this program. Just navigate through it and see if that's something you can do, you know, to help your own community, and you would not regret doing it. So thank you for having us, Colleen, and I appreciate the time.
Indeed, even for the Christians amongst us, you realize that Jesus said, as you have done unto these ones, so have you done it unto me. So really, it's our godly call to do this. And of course, Dr. Ngozi Bibi says, this is a laudable program. I come from a community where people with neurodevelopmental challenges and disabilities are mocked and abused instead of being encouraged. Let's take the info home. Indeed, it's a sad reality. Like, actually, the person is already disadvantaged. What was the need to really maltreat or mock or abuse them? We can only help them. I mean, if you have nothing at all to do, be nice and be kind to people like that. Dr. Oni, please, your concluding remarks.
I do thank you, Colin, because every time I call on you for community project like this, you are always available. I've had you in so many of my programs and in so many people that I've connected you with, and you are always available. Thank you very much. The information need to be shared, and it need to be shared publicly, because sharing is good. We cannot just have this on our own without sharing the privilege that we have with other people. So I hope you know that I'll be calling on you for other activities. Please be the mouthpiece for us everywhere in the media. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You are very welcome. And of course, the Global Fatherhood Foundation says, good job, team. Thank you very much. And I think I would also connect the team with the Global Fatherhood Foundation. And I believe that they'll be able to get some of the people under their watch to really participate and sign up as well. McDonald says, thank you very much, panel. Learn more about LEND, indeed, at www.lend.umn.edu. So thank you so very much. I can't thank you enough. And I will give you follow-ups with regards to questions or anything that's come up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
all right.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Of course, there was also a comment that came in from Lizzie Beldner. It says, very educational, supportive, and encouraging. God bless you all for the enlightenment. Thank you so very much, Lizzie, as well for your comments. To everybody who joined the conversation today on African Let's Talk, I say thank you to you, and a big thank you to the panelists as well, and also the production team here at African Let's Talk. My name is Collins Kofi. Have a good evening, and please take advantage, learn more about the Minnesota LEND program on lend.umn.edu, and decide to apply. Share the information with others so that they can apply and become champions, especially for people with disabilities. Have a good evening.